What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Scoundrels of the Force here on PLD Projects. Always a pleasure to be talking Star Wars with these fine gentlemen. Five, I don't know where that came from. Five, maybe I saw five people in here or something. Anyway, fine gentlemen. And it's really actually a pleasure because I believe we're going back to back weeks. We actually did it. We got back to doing a weekly show. I shouldn't say anything because I don't want to jinx it. But we have done 2 episodes in a row, and we're going to keep going for that as long as we will, as long as I'm alive. We're going to try. But either way, let me stop talking now. I'm just rambling at this point already. Let's bring on my fellow scoundrels. First off, Mr. Matty Gunner, the Ken Knapsack of the Scoundrels of the Force, as he just gave himself that title right before he went live.
Only because I do the news. Dude, I was watching old like schmoes and stuff videos the other day. Like, it still makes me laugh. Also, in the chat immediately, Jake, I fucking love you, dude.
I fucking hate you, Jake. I fucking hate you, just so you know.
Like, Paul fucking hates you, but I fucking love you. Never, ever question that. Jerry, I love you. Vermont Mike, I love you. Like, I love everyone. Like, this is great. We're back week to week. We got a lot to talk about. So, wait, there are gentlemen here? We're
Probably
all gentlemen. I'm not. He's not, but
this guy is, though. There's one guy who's on our stream who is a gentleman, that's for sure. Gentleman, Richard Archjarvey. Look at that! Look at how cool he is right now. Look at him. He's like got that status, that posture. Just
you know what
like
makes me the
back.
gentleman? It's the jersey, man. This is
all right. Anyway, we're gonna have to go to a duo now. Scout of the Force has just fired its early gentleman, and we are.
I didn't know you had that. Oh my god!
Cheers, boys.
I didn't know you had that jersey.
of course.
Actually, like, I know that because I met him in New York City. Like he got that jersey and pissed me right off. I was about to say, kick your ass back to Estonia. So it's all right.
And the people who don't know the story, I bought this jersey like as a fluke. Like I had I know nothing about baseball, and I was in New York. I'm like, okay, there's a discounted baseball shirt, and I'm gonna get this as a token or something. And didn't realize that this was actually like the stand moment had already happened.
Right.
So this was just
And
like a crazy coincidence.
Oh, they do, because we showed up on the bunker during one of the action bunkers. We actually got out together. We were actually live in New York City. Jared and I showed up together. They didn't even know we were even in the same space at that point. I don't think. Nope. All of a sudden, we just showed up at the same time together in the screen, and they really busted out laughing. That was there you go. Yeah, Jerry was there for that. That was funny.
Speaking of people in the chat, we got the fucking birthday boy in the house.
That's right. Happy birthday, Mr. Wingblade.
Happy birthday,
happy
Sean.
birthday. And my Estonian brother, Kaupo, is in the building.
Good to have you, as always. And Mr. Wingblade, I hope you're studying up for tomorrow. Just so you know, just hope you're doing your studying, you're doing your work, doing the diligence.
Sean, I've been talking a lot of shit on Twitter about, like, you winning. So you better. You fucking better. Otherwise, the ass whooping that's coming your way in December will be 10 times worse.
You can tell that Matty's been working out today and just come straight from practice. He's on fire.
I've been hyping my guy up because he's my boy, but like, you gotta deliver.
I hear you. I get it. I'm gonna try to trip him up. We'll have to see what happens. Anyway, actually, I'm just trying to trip everybody up. That's my job. I just trip everybody up. But anyway, let's get into Star Wars. Let's get out of this talk here. We'll talk more FCL later on and stuff. But let's talk Star Wars. We had a great episode of The Bad Batch, one of my favorite of the season so far. But before we get to that, Mr. Gunner / Knapsack, whatever you want to call yourself today, get us the news that you were able to curate in this world of the galaxy far, far away.
So I'm very lucky that there wasn't much news, but the news we got, pretty fucking big. So shout out to not only Star Wars Newsnet, but the Twitter timeline for helping me curate this news. Instagram has somewhat become the new way of announcing things, whether you're in a band or you're an actor or any kind of creative. Rosario Dawson seemingly leaked on her IG story that Mina Massoud and Lars Mikkelsen have allegedly been cast as Ezra and Thrawn in the Ahsoka series.
Correct. Now, this is not a confirmation.
Not official.
Oh, don't take this away from me.
It's not a confirmation. And honestly speaking, this is where that comes. What I have to say about this always is that sometimes the stars of the show, sometimes the cast members of the shows, they aren't as in tune with the depth of insanity that the fans are and how much that goes. So I believe that there is a chance. I would not be shocked. Not be shocked that there is a chance that Rosario Dawson saw it, wants to will it to path, thought it actually happened, but maybe she doesn't even know it. Maybe she thought it was an announcement and has no idea what's going on and just liked it or whatever, or shared it or whatever. That being said, with that being said, Rosario Dawson is one of the more geekier and in-depth people in this kind of area. She does love this stuff. She is a fan herself. With all of that, where there's smoke, there's fire kind of thing, it does make sense. And Mina had already put it out there back in the early parts of the year that he was going for it and everything else. He makes a lot of sense. And even more so is Mads Mikkelsen making sense. Mads Mikkelsen just makes perfect sense. I'm sorry, Lars. I'm sorry, thank you.
Mads is already in there, but yeah.
Yeah, the other Mikkelsen.
That's right, Jarvis dropping facts here.
That's right. You got me. You got me. That's my 94%.
Okay, the man puts on a New York jersey and a fucking baseball cap, and suddenly he's fucking Marky Mark.
Jesus. Hey, Marky Mark would wear Boston. Come on, he's got more taste than that. But
the first white rapper I could think of.
Okay, I gotcha. But Lars Mikkelsen, that would make a lot of sense, especially after you get the recent bringing people into the live action. It just seems like that we have Lars making a lot of sense that way, and I think he'd be great. I think he'd be perfect in the role. So I'm excited for him in there. I'm not sold that Mina is cast yet. I'm more sold that Lars Mikkelsen is cast. Of course, the big question is: do we even confirmed that Ezra and Thrawn are in the live action stuff? We have never heard any confirmation that they're going live action yet. To be honest with you, it makes sense. I want it to happen, but it's like I feel like this is what happened to the Star Wars universe. We will stuff. We want it to happen so bad, and we talk about it for so long. It gets to the point where we're like, we assume that this is happening, and all of a sudden it doesn't happen. We're like, what the fuck? What the fuck happened? And you know what? They never said anything about it happening.
I'm gonna ask you a question. How did Rosario Dawson's casting take place? Did we get any rumors starting with this kind of started?
Yeah, that was from like the Hollywood Reporter, not a fan.
No, but it started out with a fan photo, like someone photoshopped her. But also Mena Massoud makes a lot of sense because of the fact that he's already part of the Disney family and he hasn't had a decent movie. I don't think he's had any movie since Aladdin, and Aladdin did very well.
He hasn't had any decent movies as well.
He did amazing in Aladdin, and he deserves way more stuff.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been getting anything. And I think he even went on to Collider to talk about this. Like sometimes just you get a hit movie and stuff doesn't come to you. So I'm guessing he's been waiting for that for a while. Fans have been behind him, and this would make so much sense. It feels like the pieces are right there to fall into place. Now I'm hoping this happens because this would be probably my second to favorite casting in live action Star Wars series. Of course, Kenobi and McGregor already being like but Rosario Dawson would be number one. Rosario Dawson by far.
Wow.
Yeah.
I always am the guy, and I don't want to shit on people's, I don't shit on the parade, but I always find myself playing devil's advocate because I want to hold people we don't want to see the disappointment in their eyes when it doesn't happen. So I was kind of wait, let's until we hear it's solid, it's officially sold. Don't buy into everything. But with that being said, I get why you're excited. I do think everything does make a lot of sense. But this is actually the thing that gets me most, and Jeremiah's got it to a T. If Rosario thinks they need to cast someone for Thrawn and Ezra, if she's that far down where that, because even if she blindly is liking stuff like that, to me that thinks that it's in her head that they're casting somebody for it. That's a character. So she must have known. I mean, I'm assuming that she at least knows the outline story of what's going to go down. I mean, maybe she did blindly sign up. It could possibly be, but I think between her getting cast, and today I'm sure she's had conversations with people at least and saying, so what are we talking about here? Oh, it's taking place here and here. We're going to face this, that, the other thing, and this. So I feel like she knows that. So that does make me a little excited. I don't think she'd randomly do it as much. So the fact that it's Rosario doing it does give you a little more hope. I'm just not 100% sold yet.
No, we can't be sold because it's a rumor. We're just talking about how great it would be. And so you guys, like, let's say this is a rumor so far, but would you have someone else in mind for Ezra, or do you think this would be the right move for him?
Ed Harris.
Ed Harris is Ezra?
POD.
No, I wouldn't even go. Even I wouldn't go that far. I might go Ed Harris for Throd. But,
Ed Harris would be a perfect
Okay.
old clone to play an
There
old
you go.
clone.
I would
I
love
think
that.
after his, I think this actor, like, I think he had a really good role in this Nolan movie, Tenet. I think what's that guy, Richard Eric Jarvie? I think he'd make a good. I think he'd make a good Ezra.
Bald Ezra.
There's something like Ed Harris
So-
is up there now.
No, but I just thought of a great scene for Ed Harris as an older clone. Like they get into this mess where Ed Harris, like, he's one of the clones. He's got his enemies down in a bunker somewhere. They have the high ground, and you know where I'm getting with this.
I know we're up.
Some Clash Action vibes over here.
We're totally switching over to vibes here at that point. But okay. But anyway, overall, anybody else I would consider for I don't know who I would cast as Ezra at this point. It is a perfect casting. And that's part of the problem with these rumors that come out there, because once you kind of get that in your head, it's almost harder to think of alternatives that would work, considering. So it's like I don't have anybody in my head at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if they gave Taylor Gray a shot, the guy who voiced him. Because he does.
I gotta
look
see what
like
it
him.
looks like. Taylor Gray, you said?
Yeah, Taylor Gray, and he actually has a little bit of a resume, as far as singing
Tom
goes.
Selleck.
He was done. Oh, actually, I'll go. He was
My answer to anything trivia related when I don't know the answer. Tom Selleck.
What was his last name?
Gray, Gray. Here, I'll put a picture up here. Hold on a second. Let me see.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, he looks right the part.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
Right. So I mean,
No, yeah, he's definitely, he'd be great.
So
Yeah, I
that's
wouldn't mind
why-
him at all.
And that's kind of what I'm like. Well, that could definitely happen if something were that. I mean, he is a little young at this point potentially.
I don't think he could look more mature. It's crazy how this series casts these voice actors that look exactly like their parts as well. It's kind of crazy.
I kind of feel like they designed like these blank slates. They cast the parts. They kind of like went that way about it potentially. Maybe.
Well, that makes
Green Rant is saying they
sense.
should get Henry Golding. No, thank you.
No.
he's getting so much already. I feel like
I
he
watched
doesn't-
Snake Eyes and no.
Oh, I didn't even watch it because of the bad rap.
Oh no.
I haven't
couldn't
watched
watch
Snake Eyes
that
yet,
movie.
but I will watch it eventually. But I'm never a big fan of Henry Golding.
I won't. I feel like it's a waste of time.
Nope. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I actually got scared. Like I was like, I got excited about Snake Eyes at first. Then like I hurt my back, so I think I hurt my back, so I didn't get to go. But I watched the G.I. Joe movie, the first one, the Rise of Cobra thing. This was okay. It was all right, whatever. I didn't even get a chance to watch Retaliation or whatever the second one is.
Yeah.
And then like, but at this point, I obviously haven't seen Snake Eyes. I'm not rushing out to see it after everybody's been telling me how shitty it is.
Yeah, it's shaky cam. Like I can't. If I heard the shaky cam stuff, I was like completely like closed off from it. I can't.
Louis Tan isn't even in the movie, and I know we're getting sidetracked here. This is me and my last thing about it. Louis Tan isn't even in the movie, but he's really good friends with Iko Uwais.
Right.
And he did like a full long tweet rant about how shit the choreography is and like how bad the shaky cam is and like how they're covering for stunt doubles and stuff, which I hope doesn't happen in Star Wars when they get back down to shooting with lightsaber scenes and stuff.
Oh, I don't think Disney would ever let
Yeah.
something like that happen.
I don't think so
Again,
either. I don't think so either. All right, what else we got there?
Moving on to the next bit of news, we had I'm going to switch the order up a little bit. We had Joel Edgerton came out, did an interview, as all these actors seem to be doing interviews, telling us about projects that they're involved with. He came out and he said about Kenobi, "I'm unable to discuss the series and potentially totally as in the dark as you are. we all know the universe of Star Wars is on serious lockdown, as is the rest of the world. Part of the reason for us is that people don't want the stories too spoiled before they come out. The great thing about Star Wars fans are they are the creators of the next Star Wars universes, and I think that whoever's creating these things are creating them with the fans in mind, knowing that they hold the keys to to that universe. To deviate too far from what you might expect could mean death by lightsaber, and yet to not introduce surprises within that mix is death to creativity.
It's long-winded. It's a long-winded statement by him. But I think if you read between the lines, like we were saying before, there's not a lot of information given, obviously. But I kind of feel like he's saying something that many rational Star Wars fans have been saying in the this galaxy far, far away. The truth is, we are at this crux where some Star Wars. I don't want to get too deeply with the toxicity of Star Wars fans here and there, because every fan base has toxicity. But there's a lot of polarity going on between like what's good and what's not. A lot of people seem to love the nostalgic part of it, and then there's a whole other group of people who want nothing but like completely new stuff. They hate the nostalgic part of it. It almost seems like the older generation, like the much of the like original trilogy type fan base, like growing up during it, they want to see more of the original stuff. They want to see the almost repeated stuff. Whereas the youngest generation, who like love the sequel trilogy, they are the ones who don't want anything to do with it. They want new stuff, and I get that. To me, there needs to be a balance. And I think Joel Edgerton is completely right, and you need to find it's a struggle bus to find that kind of balance. You want to find, you don't want to go too far so it doesn't feel like Star Wars. You kind of want to hit those Star Wars beats here and there occasionally, hit some moments of nostalgia that's not too heavy-handed, but at least let you yep, I'm in that galaxy far, far away. But you can't just rely completely on the old stuff. You can't have the same stuff happen again and again and again. There's got to be something that kind of sparks fire to give you new ways you can go. And it's tough. I think he's kind of feeling like they're saying Obi-Wan is maybe struggling with that a little bit, trying to find that balance. But that they hopefully are finding that balance. If that makes sense.
This TV series is definitely finding the balance. I feel like the new trilogy didn't, because they were trying to copy the OT. The series, like Mandalorian leading it, well, that's the only one we've had so far, found that perfect balance, I feel like.
Yeah, yes, but even within the Mandalorian, I would say there's times where like overall the balance is there, but it's still a struggle bus within the series. At some points there were some things like, okay, yeah, we're seeing that again. Okay, we're seeing that. But then they found some new stuff as well. So it's kind of like it's a balance you can't like rest your hat on. You gotta always be actively maintaining the balance. And Jerry, I don't know if that's true too. I don't know if the prequels are the perfect balance either. I don't know if that's the case, but because you're definitely not balanced.
Jerry, speaking of my generation, there, us prequelists with
Prequel people.
with the balance.
The balance of the force. You thought you were the chosen one.
Oh no, I'm on the dark, like, but
you and Liam both.
What the fuck did you just say?
You heard me. Fuck.
He called you Liam.
The fuck?
He called you Liam Eric Jarvey.
Wow.
Because someone's gonna be deleting this episode from the archives. Fuck.
Wow, this is very this got really heated real quick. It got more heated than Mustafar.
Paul's gonna find a way to delete the coordinates to Estonia.
Nice. All right. Anyways, get too far off there. But anything else we need to say about that? I think we're pretty much said what we need to say.
If I think, there was one more photo.
Well, that's because that we have the other news bit we're doing. That's a different news bit. I'm talking about this, the Joel Edgerton quote. All right. Then go ahead.
Just give we'll go into the next bit.
Okay.
We don't really do a lot of paparazzi photos on this show, but
yeah, I hate doing that.
There was some set photos came out, I believe, in a video teaser somewhere of this young actor, new in his career, been around for a couple years now. You know, child actors, we've seen what's happened to him. Hopefully this won't happen to him. Young Dave is back on the scene with the Disney Gallery, Star Wars: The Mandalorian, and he's looks like he's being held by some dude in a coat.
Oof.
Some old dude in a big coat is holding the star of the Mandalorian.
That just made me very happy. That just
Can
made me
this
very
can
happy.
this even be called a paparazzi picture? Because it's like we already seen the episode. It's out for a while.
No, yeah, This is actually pop out. It's not like it is actually a release. I thought it was a released image, wasn't it? Was it a released image from the gallery?
Yeah, I think it was in like a video teaser, and someone just screen capped
Oh,
it.
that's what it is. Okay, so it's
But
not
like
really
for
a
someone who
paparazzi.
like
It's
may
like
not have seen it, like or
Right.
someone who may not want to see it, it's kind of little paparazzi-ish.
Gotcha. I
You know,
gotcha.
so just some old dude in a robot is holding Dave. I want to know if you pull the picture back up a sec,
Yeah.
Paul.
Yeah.
What is Homeboy doing, like down on his knees there?
You can't see it in this picture, but he's there. Yeah.
But there's some random dude that's dressed all in gray. I don't know if he's like meant to be like hiding in the set, but like he's just like down on his knees.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, my picture got cut off that way. Interesting.
But I'm happy we're getting more Dave. We're seeing more of Dave, which is good.
Well, I'm happy that we're actually getting this gallery because I didn't think we were getting this gallery. Because we had season 1 had like a bunch of episodes. It was like a series, gallery series, where we talk about different things of how the Mandalorian came to be, yada yada. All, and then like season 2 came and we're getting nothing. I'm like, oh man. Then they announced that we're getting the one special gallery about the Oh, it's actually
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you see the season 2 one? Because this was the one thing that they left out. Of the
right.
season
That's what
2
it was.
one.
That's what I mean. They were going to get. That's what I was trying to say. So but now we are getting the whole thing about the finale episode with Mark Hamill doing it. So we get to actually see behind the scenes the great moment that everybody watched, that everybody has thoughts on. Most people loved. Some people hated because it was old and nostalgic again.
I'm not ready to cry again, bro. Like
I am
I'm not ready to cry again.
I
Like,
I watched the scene again where they showed the difference between the deepfake and the like the Disney CGI young Mark Hamill, and I even with the behind the scenes type of thing, I cried again watching that scene.
It's so good. It's so good.
just the line where it's like he's waiting for you to tell him he can go. I was like, no, say no, say no.
But what I took away from like the sentence that I took away the most was like he said, and I'm paraphrasing here, "I'll see you again, I promise." Like that's the quote I'm holding on to with all my life because they need to be reunited at some point.
I'm holding on to actually from what I heard from the gallery. There's going to be some deleted moments that they cut out, and one of the lines was that Luke says to Grogu, "If you come with me, you can kill Liam."
I think I'm gonna cry again.
They cut that out.
They
cut that out.
That is beautiful, Paul.
I know. I don't understand.
That's great, right? That's amazing, right?
I know. I must be saving it for something else. Maybe they're saving it for like I don't know, next season or something. Maybe to open with that.
What, you think Luke's gonna bring Grogu back like he's been at summer camp?
Maybe that's what'll happen.
And he's gonna come back all swole and shit. Yeah.
He'll be buff.
Oh no, I was thinking more like he just pulls up in like some kind of space bus. Grogu gets off. He's got like a little thing of Dairy Lee Lunchables with him or something.
Like yeah.
It looks like he was a bit of a handful. You can have him back now. And Din's just waiting there like the dad, just like we want to send him back.
Luke with his hair all messed up, all messed out of places. Here, take him, please. I'm not ready to be. I'm not ready.
Camp Counselor Luke.
And you thought Kylo Ren was tough. Oof. All right. Well, that's what we'll wrap up the news there. That's all the news that was fit to really report about. There was, I will throw it out there that Jarvin and Maddie talked about beforehand. More rumors heating up about the Inquisitors being in the Obi-Wan series. I didn't see any more information about that, but I do think that the fact that it's one of those things that repeated rumor, repeated, especially that Obi-Wan's been filming and everything else. It makes sense that we're going to see that, especially because I know Filoni's a big fan of the Inquisitors and always wanted to introduce more of them to the live action in a way from what he said. So this makes a lot of sense to me.
Kind of, but my boy Maul kind of put a whooping on the Inquisitors. So I don't know if there's like much point bringing them back if Obi-Wan's just going to beat their asses.
True, unless there's like a bunch of them. Maybe give them, I think there'd maybe 3 or 4 of them. That'll give them a. I mean, one Obi-Wan would probably wreck all of them, but like get 3 or 4 of them on them, and
As long as as long as they do the helicopter thingy.
this is why it makes us good Star Wars fans. We know that's stupid, but we still laugh about it. Love it.
Yeah.
No, that exactly. That is so bad that it's so enjoyable. Like
Yeah.
that is that one part of Rebels that is so ridiculous that it's become so great now.
Exactly. All right, let's get into it. We just had the Bad Batch episode 14. If you hear for us talking about that, I'm sorry it took 25 minutes to get to the news. That sometimes happens. Let us talk about this absolutely awesome episode. I'm going to say right off the bat the first thing that what I loved most about it, and I don't know, this might be surprising to, no, it probably won't be to you guys. It was the music.
Yes,
Was
but they
so. This is what we were talking about earlier. This was nostalgia at its best because it was extreme. Not only reminiscent, it literally was like quoted or at least paraphrased from all of the Death Star stuff from A New Hope from Episode 4. All
and
of
it
it
was
was in there, and like it was just stuff that they don't usually quote. I mean, like a lot of times Star Wars will quote the famous refrains, the ones we've heard a million times, or whatever. It still gets me every time. This was stuff that you don't hear all the time, and like, but I still like, my ears still perked up and go, that's from like the Death Star era. That's it fits perfectly with what they were doing in the episode.
exactly. They were throwing it back. They were like they were introducing the stormtroopers, everything, and it was done subtly. They didn't overdo it. They gave it just enough hints that you were like, oh. Even I got goosebumps, and I'm like the rookie of like Star Wars fandom here, and I think they balanced it very well.
It was like it was basically even like, not even the same quotes music, but it was like the choice of instruments. They would just take the same instruments that they use in those series and just give them little things, and it just sounded like a cousin, distant cousin to it in a way.
Can I just say one thing at the very start of the episode? I yelled out loud because I thought a certain character was being introduced in the Bad Batch, and it was when we were on Camino, and there were kids coming down the hall. For a split second, I was like, "Is that fucking Liam?" Did that fucker survive? It's like, oh, there's way more than it can't be Liam. But there was a moment where I'm like, no way.
Part of me just wants to believe that when Jarvy's out walking in the streets of Estonia and he sees small little boys, he just sees Liam's face on every single one of them. And he's just like, I'm going to fucking kill that kid. And then like another one walks past, he's like, fucking Liam. Fucking Liam. But yeah, even like when you look at the base, like you see the aesthetics of the Empire starting to come in, and although it wasn't like the classic Stormtrooper armor that we know, like it's getting there. And
still Macquarie Designs. It was like Ralph.
That was the original design. Yeah.
Cool. They took the older Macquarie Designs and they said what they went with it, using them as like the early versions of it, which I thought was a brilliant way to do it.
And we see now that like Operation War Mantle, they're starting to phase out the clones, but they're keeping the main ones. They're keeping the commandos. Like shout out my guy Scorch. Dude, I was hyped seeing Scorch because I love the Republic Commando games. You reminded me that he's in Witches of the Mist.
Yes, briefly.
So let me ask a question. Are the guys with the blue visors, those were clones leading the regular stormtroopers?
Yeah.
Yes.
So these okay. So this that one guy with the yellow stuff, he seemed like super tough because they had to like stun him like 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, there's a older video game, Republic Commando. He's a character in that, and he's a fucking badass.
Right.
He shows up a little bit in Clone Wars, but like, yeah,
very briefly in Clone Wars.
The whole of Delta Squad, and like seeing that they're like, they brought them in Clone Wars, they brought them in now in Bad Batch. I'm like, oh,
that's just Dave Filoni being Dave Filoni, really, to be honest with you. That's what he does. He kind of mines those little perfect aspects of Star Wars and brings them in. Before we're actually getting way ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, we got to talk about Camino.
Back to the beginning.
Yeah,
go back to the beginning. Well, actually, we do technically start on Daro when Gregor is being hunted down like a beast by the Mastis, by those big dog the Massive and the other troopers, and it was pretty brutal. I thought. I gotta be honest, it was kind of brutal, brutal, like for a cartoon. Like it was just, it would seem like also really dark and perspective. I just felt that way. I felt like this. I felt like, wow, this is not good. Like you've seen hunting down before, but this seems savage in a way. I don't know. How you guys, did you guys get
Yeah.
that same like weird vibe about that, or?
Yeah, and
I
like
loved it.
there's that whole you have the dream of like you're running away from something chasing you, and then suddenly you can't run as fast anymore. And obviously it's because dude got how did he get shot in the ass with the stun bolt and managed to keep running? Like it slowed him down,
Yeah,
but like he got shot right in the ass with that.
Well, he got shot in the chest with actual, like, far later in the episode as well.
that's true.
Yeah, but like Gregor didn't. He had a little bit of armor on, but he didn't have like full clone commando armor on.
Well,
But
the guy's he already tried explosions. He survived everything else. So what else he would
That's
do?
that's true.
This in this episode, they definitely try to show you far more than before how much tougher the clones are, and I'm so glad that they finally also explained from Palpatine's point of view why they're actually switching out the clones. Like because to me that was like the biggest thing was like why because they're way more effective. Sure, it costs money, but I don't think the Empire needs more money because I never thought of money as something they needed. But quantity over quality. There and I don't want to jump ahead, but in this episode they showed very well how much more superior the clones are.
And that's why the Empire needs to get rid of them because they want people that they can control better, control more. At this point, because if the clones ever,
Which is ironic because they created the clones in Order 66 so they could control them completely.
I feel like the Empire is kind of like, oh well, they did. I almost feel like the Empire fucked up. Like, and it's hard to imagine Palpatine fucking up and going like, all right, we're gonna create this clone army, we're gonna take out the Jedi, and then I didn't think anything about what happened after that. But then else it happened, and went, oh wait, these guys are fucking really good now. What if they ever decide to turn on us?
But that's exactly the story of the Darth Plagueis the Wise. Like when your sort of his Padawan became too powerful. Plagueis. The one thing that he started to fear was losing his power, and that's exactly what happened to Palpatine as well. Like he started to get afraid of losing his power. Anyone else getting too powerful, he's immediately afraid.
Right.
Do you think Cypher DS saw it when he commissioned the clones on Kamino? Do you think he maybe saw that they would be the ones that could, uprise and take out the Empire if they were kept around?
I mean, interesting theory. I don't know.
Because he had to. Part of me thinks he had to have seen a Sith Lord or something of the dark side come into power, and
Was
Cypher DS was the one that commissioned the clones.
I know, but I'm thinking has he had like was he like completely on the good side, or was he?
Yeah, he was just a little crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't know if he was crazy back then.
Like Qui-Gon.
It's hard to. We don't really have him. The only time we've ever seen Cypher DS was much later on. Like they talked about him a little more later on. He was
in the Dooku book was when he starts having like all the visions and he starts going a little bit.
Right.
So I don't know. It's intense though. But I don't know. That'd be an interesting thing to explore. Whether that's actually a part of the story that I'd like to see explored more. See Cypher Diaz's like time during that period and what led him up to doing all this stuff and really get into it. That'd be kind of cool to see, like live action or animated. It's all good.
I'd like to see way more on Cypher Diaz.
Yeah.
It seems like an interesting character.
Yeah, definitely.
It is interesting as we see like the clones now start to get phased out. I mean, even like they go to Kamino and you just see all the clones getting on the ships and stuff. I was kind of like,
what are they doing with all of them?
Where are they going? Like,
yeah,
because they're all lined up. Like you see them for the first time on Coruscant, and like they're all just lined up getting on the ships. You see all the like they even get like that's another thing of dread. Like, what happens to all those kids?
Good question.
You can just rename them, give them a name that's easier to.
What, like Liam?
Yeah. Perfect.
But like, do they just put them on some empty planet and use that planet as like the first test of the Death Star?
Take them to the incinerator planet. Okay.
Okay. Okie doke.
Okay.
Okay. Now we're
No, that got too dark. That got a bit too dark. Sorry.
All right. Oh, anyway, though,
Yeah, it's not just the clones that are getting fed out. It's the Kaminoans that we finally see them getting. Like, there's been so many episodes where we've been talking about like we want to see more of the Kaminoans and what they're up to, what happens to them. With why am I blanking on his name again? Not Radis. Rampart. I keep forgetting his name for some reason. Like Rampart, like taking over, phasing them out, and just
as I like to call him.
But like, no, actually, I think I'm gonna say this. This is at the end of the episode. No, let's talk about it now. I had a question. If they releasing the Kaminoans from their contract, and they don't want them to do business with anyone else because they know how powerful the clones can be.
right.
When they're like Lama Su is sent to the health bay or whatever to set up their escape, why would they why does Rampart go up to not Lama Su, the prime minister, his name, give me his name.
Lama
Su. Sorry, he goes up to him and he's mad about them trying to escape, but they've sort of released them from their contract already. So is he already letting them know, like, we release you from your contract and we're going to kill you?
Yeah, that was the way. When they got released from the contract, that was the big that their time was going to be short. Like he's smart enough to realize that they
couldn't have revealed it back then that they want to kill them. It was just like, because we're releasing from your contract, they pretty much could do whatever they want. But Rampart goes up, I'm disappointed that you didn't show your hand to us. Why would he be disappointed if they released them from their contract? He didn't. From their point of view at that time, he didn't do anything wrong. They could leave the planet if they wanted to because their contract's over.
No, but that's their Don Camino. That's their planet. So why are they leaving their planet unless they're going to go do something against the Empire?
That's but they were released from the contract.
But they're going to go.
They don't want
they were taking all the stuff. Like Nalase was taking all the stuff with them, all the the information that they had and everything else. It's like all the stuff that they were contractually did under the contract. They have all the information, all the stuff that the Empire gave them, probably Django Fett batch stuff and all the stuff that they probably didn't technically own. That kind of stuff. They're taking propriety. They're taking all sorts of propriety with them.
I get that, but at that point they didn't. That wasn't public knowledge that they wanted actually take care of them, get rid of them.
I think they kind of. It's kind of one of those things you kind of know.
Yeah, that's the only.
You don't need to explain it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just yeah. It's kind of when you get you're about to be fired from your job. When someone comes up to you and it's like, hey, can we have a meeting in my office real quick? I want to discuss some things with you. It's right. We've all had that conversation. We know what's coming, so let's just cut the bullshit,
right,
and get to it. So Lama Su was just like, look, get out of here while you can. I'll arrange for us to get off the planet. And then Rampart came in, and he was still trying to be like, hey, the Empire, we're trying to help you. We're trying to make things better for you. And
they were doing on Ryloth.
Yeah, you're going behind our backs. It's pretty much gaslighting. He's like, look, we're trying to help you. So why are you, and you're going against us? We can't have that. When in his head, he's like, yeah, we were going to kill you all along. You're of no use to us anymore.
Right, exactly. But Nalase will get through, and I think she'll still be a part of it somewhere down the line, hopefully.
Do you think they got her for cloning, sort of abilities, or because I saw some?
I think it's directly tying into the Mandalorian at this point.
That's what I wanted to ask, because I saw Star Wars Theory discuss that, and that seemed like a pretty credible theory on his part.
If you go to that episode, they're wearing the Imperial officers are wearing the Camino symbol on their jacket.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Wow. Okay.
So that's what it is. I believe this is exactly what it is. So Nalase will start teaching somebody else, and or whatever, probably at some point work with somebody else, and that's who we get to see in Mandalorian. That's my guess. But regardless,
let's get on to the Bad Batch themselves, right?
Themselves, yeah. Well, so Gregor gets kidnapped, or not kidnapped, hunted down. And then we go to the Bad Batch is flying through space, and we are treated with yet another thing where Rex gets to come in, and Hunter goes, "No way, it's too dangerous." And Omega goes, "Oh, we
we
gotta do
should
it.
go.
Okay, we're going."
You can't turn your back on someone. We fucking get it.
Jesus Christ!
But then Echo came in. Echo finally dropped some knowledge on them.
That's true.
Like we talked about previous episodes. Like he hasn't done a lot, and his story is kind of over. This, I feel like finally his backstory has paid.
Oh, we just lost Jarvie.
We just lost
Jarvie.
I get.
That was another scene. Another thing he did. That's when he pissed me off the Yankee jersey. He gets cut the fuck out. Bum. Done. Anyway, he'll be back soon. But you're right. What he was trying to say is that his background is what did it for us, because he finally serves his purpose, and his purpose is to welcome back. You got to take off the Yankee jersey.
Every time.
You got to take off the Yankee jersey. That's what it is.
Every time.
Well, because now his role in the Bad Batch is to be that kind of like bridge between the Bad Batch and all the people we know and love from the Clone Wars, like Rex and everything else. He's that person that you can see. That's what his role is now, and it's a good role. It's a good role to have it, because he keeps them on there. He keeps them honest. He'll keep the Bad Batch a little more honest. He's kind of like a little bit of like Omega in that way, but just a different way of doing it. He's more honorable about it, where she's more like loyal and bleeding heart, and we got to help everybody kind of thing.
Yeah, I was less annoyed that it came from Echo first, because I understood it, because like him and Rex have a history. But then it turned into Omega being like, "We gotta help him." I was like, "Shut up." The one thing I did love about that scene though was the comedy beat, the Wrecker hit. It was like, "Yeah, Echo's got a point."
He's got a point.
Yeah, Tech's got a point. Yeah, the kid's got a point.
Everyone had a point.
I like that.
That was a nice little comedy beat that kind of broke up the tension a little bit.
Yeah, that kind of made fun of themselves, like, because I'm pretty sure the writers knew that we've been doing this way too much. We gotta address it now.
I actually want to hold tight to that for a little bit. We'll get back to that. Just in mind, remember I'm saying this. But they do decide, of course, to go. And this was what was cool about this. This whole, we talked about it a little bit with the music and everything else, but this hidden base was just a very, I can't describe it anything else but very Star Warsian. It just felt Star Wars to me. The whole attack on the base, everything else just felt so Star Wars. The droids being there,
original Star Wars,
old school OT. It's going to be it's going to be about what these stormtroopers are doing. We're to break somebody out of prison, just like A New Hope in a way. But it's done in such a I don't want to say subtle fashion, because it's not subtle, but it doesn't feel like it's like, oh, we're hammering this home that this is A New Hope. But it just felt right. You know, I feel that way to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
And just before they went up to the base, we saw Hunter's actual like hunting and tracking skills come to use as well. And I love the fact that he picked up a piece of branch, smelled it, they went that way. Yeah, all right, you
like
got
Hunter,
that from,
if you look a little bit to the left, you'll see there's boot tracks.
Yeah. No,
You
but
don't have to sniff the leaf,
That
you
way.
just look at the tracks.
But that's what he's doing. That's how you fool people. That's how you get to be a best tracker. They think it's sleight of hand. What's he doing?
no.
Kicks the tracks away so they can't see him. Never heard. Oh. So having Gregor there is cool. Obviously, having Gregor from the Clone Wars return. It does make me wonder, and you guys are talking to me. Jar, you might not know this because of the Clone Wars like hole in your library. What do you think, Maddie? Is Rex? What is Rex doing? Is he breaking Wolf out somewhere? You think that's what he's doing?
I think so. I think that's where he is at the minute. I think he's breaking Wolf out. I don't know where Wolf is. Like if he's maybe Rex is breaking him out from Camino, maybe because he knows the Bad Batch can't go to Camino. So maybe Rex is on his way to Camino.
Could be.
But,
I have a feeling we're going to see Rex and Wolf next episode. That's what I think. And then we're going to see the first time Wolf, Rex, and Gregor are going to reunite for Rebels and start their long journey to Rebels.
Yeah, that'll be sweet. This whole episode was kind of like the beginning of the branch between Clone Wars and Rebels, where we're like, okay, like now we're in that territory of smack dab between those two. And we even start to see, like I said, the aesthetic of the base a lot more Imperial. So it's like, okay, we're here now. We're in. I guess the kind of word that I would use for this episode, it was kind of familiar.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a great word because I was trying to say before, like it felt like it's not subtle, but it's definitely reminiscent of stuff. But it's not too solid, but it is a very familiar feel to it. Again, that's a good thing. It's a good familiar. It's not the here we go again, or I gotta go back to the same play. No, this just feels right. It feels like this is the way the story should go. This is how it should be progressing. This is what we're. This feels like we're going the right way, logically
And
the right way.
And on top of the music, there were some smaller sound effects that came back into play, which I loved so much. Like first time, like they weren't TIE fighters yet, but the sound was there.
Right,
And
definitely.
there was this one moment when they were already like rescuing them out of the base, and the engine started sputtering, and it did the pod racer thing, like exactly what Anakin's pod racer did when it was starting to shut down. I loved it. It was the exact sound effect.
That's what it is because they recycle sound effects, and that's what keeps it. It's one of those things like in real life that doesn't happen that way, but in Star Wars life it does. If you're happy about it, because you just get reminded of it. You're like, it feels homey.
Paul, how much did you nerd out when Tech mentioned the TK units when he was looking at the panel? And he was just like, "Oh, there's 50 clone commandos and however many TK units."
Yes,
like, TK units. What are those? And we were like, "Oh,
TK.
So what does TK actually stand for?
That's a good question, actually.
that's a good question." I don't think I have.
That's what they always. That's what they were. That was a New Hope. That's what it was. TK, whatever.
I don't think I've ever looked that up.
I know. I don't think I have either. Let's look it up. TK42 will mind you at your post. That's what I remember. TK. Let's see if it actually has a standing.
But I was watching it with a buddy of mine, and even when Gregor said his name, he was like, "Nah, that ain't Gregor." I was like, "He just said it's Gregor." He's like, "But Gregor died in the explosion." It's like, well, clearly not, because he's right there.
And they addressed it as well. They did talk about like him being sort of unkillable. I got like Fast 9 vibes a little bit, like Tyrese Gibson, like I can't be killed.
There's been some more.
And he was as goofy. He was pretty goofy. Gregor's pretty goofy. This was my first time seeing him, and he was a goofy guy.
I looked it up. It says it actually has not been defined canonically, but the belief is that it stands for Trooper Corps.
Core with a K.
With a K. K or P, because that's what Lucas kind of give it in a Nazi feel in a way.
Right. Yeah. I think it was, again, Star Wars theory that mentioned that. But I figured that's such a theory on his part.
Interesting.
That's the theory come up in Google. I didn't know. It's funny. I never looked at that before, and I always look up this stuff, and I just never did. I think it's because I think it's because I knew that like from episode 4, like I was like 5 or 6 years old, so it just became ingrained in my head. I didn't even think about what it was. Just TK421, why aren't you your post? That kind of thing. But either way, so the action was great. The action was great in this one the whole time through.
Oh, hell yeah.
Weapons, space.
A lot of action.
A lot of the whole episode was pretty much action. And like the guns the blasts were like hot and heavy. Stormtroopers still can't shoot the side of a barn.
No,
it seems like.
but they did. Like they've been stunning them.
Yeah.
But here and there, they kind of just shot him and killed him because.
Yeah.
Like when Wrecker shows up, the door opens, he just blasts him.
Boom.
And right. I think it's Hunter and Echo like on the side of the doors, like and they just use a trooper as shield. They get him and they just throw him over the ledge and he's dead. So they don't really care about the troopers. They cared about the clones.
Yeah, it's pretty
so that was a kind of cool thing to see as well.
It was very cool to see. The best part, of course, is the end though with the space battle. They actually come across and get they Wrecker and I keep wanting to say I call her Miga. I don't know why I want to call her Miga. I know it's Omega, but
that's how she pronounced her name. Omega.
It's like Teak,
Echo,
Omega. But Omega and Wrecker come in with the ship. Actually, that was another good funny part too, where like Omega's like trying to convince Wrecker to go. And he's like, all right, let's go. Because he's like so relaxed and everything else.
I'm charging up before I charge in.
Yeah, that was a good one.
So, but they actually do come in, and I like the fact that they had to like circle around a couple times. All those ships kind of coming in, and they did a good job of seeming oppressive. Like Like I remember even going back to like A New Hope days when the 4 TIE fighters are flying after the Millennium Falcon. It still felt like they'll get away because only 4 TIE fighters. Of course, that was kind of the plan of Vader and Tarkin anyway. This one felt like I remember going, how the fuck are they getting away from all these fucking guys? This is a lot of fucking shit. It's like you almost tell that something bad is going to happen because there's no way you can get away with this. Even though Wrecker is a crack shot, those back guns.
Better shot than Crosshair.
That's for sure. He took a lot of them out. But of course, Hunter doesn't get away, and this is what I want. This is what I'm going to bring up. I was trying to touch base from earlier. We had them basically say no to Omega finally.
Yep.
Omega's like, no, we got to go back for him, and they're like, no. Hunter's like, no, we will not. This is an order. You will do what you're told. And Omega's
That was
like
the second
screaming
time
upset.
actually, because she wanted to come with them on the mission, and we're like, nope. You guys are back up with Wrecker. Go back to the ship. And they're like, all right.
Well, they had done that a couple times before. They had done because I mean, like, she stayed with Sid that time, the whole planet, that whole when they went on the whole mission without her, that kind of thing. That's
but
been done.
That was in the beginning. They didn't want to take her with her. They didn't want to take her with them.
But I'm talking about this is like the time, like one of the first times they've really like talked about it when it was like a big emotional moment. Usually she's the emotional center when she starts whining and crying about like hardcore whining and crying about she gets her way. Especially when it's the we can't leave a man behind. We can't do this. That's usually when they go, fine, we'll do it. And this time, no, we're going. You're done. And she was so upset about it, and I actually liked it because it's going to be good. It's going to be good character development because she needs to have that happen to her. You got to tell your kids no every once in a while, folks.
And it was a great moment from Hunter as well.
Yes.
Just like, I'm giving you guys an order.
Yeah.
That was a really cool shot
Gotta
as well of
The way he fell, or
when Hunter, when he put away the blade
Yeah.
onto his wrist and he turned and there was all the commandos with the massives,
Yes.
and there was like he was proper outnumbered. Like, okay,
He's not
because
gonna
for a
win.
while he was like still holding onto the knife and they were approaching. He was just like, you know what, fuck it. They have to fight another day. I'm gonna find a way out of this
Right.
because there's no way out. We did. There was one little bit that kind of upset me because I don't know if it's R.I.P. But Gonki coming to the rescue.
no, he's good.
He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
I think he's good.
I hope so.
He'll be fine. He'll be fine, I think.
I hope so. He wouldn't have got away.
But I did love going back. I love that Tech. That's where Tech comes in handy and his emotionless behavior. That's when because he was like, he gave us an order. We got to do what we're told. That's what was good about that.
He had the line of the episode for me.
What was that?
Tech had the line of the episode for me
Which one is that?
where they're in the elevator and they're talking. They're like, "Oh, what did you? I thought you said you were an instructor. I thought you said you trained them." He's like, "Oh, I didn't train them for everything." And then they go, "Oh, numbers don't mean everything." And then they open the door and there's all the stormtroopers there. And then Tech just goes, "You were saying."
One question I do want to bring up, talking about death and everything else. We talked about earlier. I wanted to mention this earlier, but we kind of got off target. When the door closes on the troopers with the Camino Prime Minister there with Lama Su,
Oh boy.
there's
There's no
blast.
shot.
There's no shot.
Exactly. There's no blast. We were all waiting for it.
Yeah, we were, and they had to know we were going to be waiting for it. So, is he done? Is he dead? Or was that a
I don't
kid
think so.
decision? Or was that a kid show decision? Was that
I hope not. Because he's an interesting character. He's a very interesting character.
I think so
Survivor.
too. Although, part of me thinks he is only because I think that, I think they want to focus on Nalase because she's the more interesting of the two as far as like their storyline goes. But I almost feel like you're supposed to think he's dead, and he'll come into play later on somehow. Either
If
under
they want
duress-
to, they can use him because that could have been just like a
Right.
strategic decision on,
know
on
what?
the writing part.
if they can fucking shoot Warren Fauci in the head.
Yeah.
And then say he's recovering. He'll be all right. They can make anything happen they want.
I wonder if it's
Darth Maul was
hard.
cut in fucking half. Okay, he
But
was
I
cut in half.
wonder.
Hey,
if it's hard
don't
to-
be comparing my guy to Owen Freetan now.
I wonder if it's hard to hit him because he can sort of get out of the way with his neck.
He can do what?
He's.
He's
You
a
can't hit
dancer,
me.
yeah. He wants to be held on the dance floor.
I just imagine him with like his ridiculously long limbs doing the robot.
Yes.
But no, I think he's dead. I think that was just their way of like showing without showing, maybe because it is essentially a kid's show.
Yeah, but
And
I did
No,
say that.
but
But the
they
argument before is
they
that
executed people in previous episodes. I don't think that
what
was.
was he gonna do? That's a round room with one door and two
Dude,
guys.
he's got the net.
He's still going. He's still dancing. He's still dancing right now.
He's there right now.
Sir,
like,
we're
"Miss,
trying.
miss,
We're
pow in his
trying
head."
to, sir.
He's in there with two guys who I still believe are Death Troopers. I'm hanging on to it until the last episode and they prove me wrong. Like, there's one door, one way in, one way out. Even if he gets rid of the two in the room, there's a bunch more waiting outside for him.
He's got an exit strategy. It feels like the Kaminoans, and he's the prime minister. He should be the smartest and most devious of them all. This is why I'm hoping he survives. I feel like there's way more you can do with him.
I'm betting we don't see him for a while. Let's put it that
Yeah,
way.
that's fine.
And they might. I don't. It might. They might have just, honestly speaking, as much as Dave Filoni usually has a plan. I kind of feel like he might have just thrown in there and go, just let it close it, and we'll decide later. And if we want him, if we want him, he'll be dead. If we decide we want to use him later on, he suddenly won't be dead.
Yeah.
But talking about doors closing and opening, we got to talk about the last scene.
Dude, I love that theme. I love his theme.
Yep.
Oh,
So good, so good. That music was.
like a heavy 80s synth wave. Like, it's what a villain's theme should sound like.
But is he a villain?
Exactly. I got a pretty strong feeling that we're starting to turn around on him.
Nope.
Here's the thing, and here's the thought. Here's my process. I think, and Dave Filoni doesn't do long burns. He really doesn't do too many long burns. I always feel like I wouldn't be. I would. All right, I'm putting this at like probably 35%, 30% possibility happening. I would not be shocked if we open up next episode and it's Crosshair grabbing Hunter and going on the run with him.
Not going on the run. Dude, listen, not going on the run. He says, I was hoping for like the whole squad, but you'll do. What if he needed them to get rid of Rampart and they team? Not that he's suddenly become good. No, he needs them because he sees what's happening to the clones and he wants to take out the top brass. So maybe him and Hunter go for a hunt.
Because my thought process, honestly, is he gets hit in the head, specifically a couple of episodes ago, got torched.
Yep.
That fucked up the chip now. That chip's fucked up now, potentially.
And he opens
Since then,
Sorry.
Since then, he had that opportunity to kill Hauser. Didn't kill Hauser. Because he's his clone brother. He had him arrested instead. It almost seems like, it seems like the first episode he would have just killed him. He's that cold, like that guy Hauser would have been dead. The fact that that's not happening makes me wonder if there is like a little bit of a slow burn happening. So I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised.
I'll be so pissed. I will be. If it turns out the Crosshair's just like been playing the bad guy, and really he's had this secret plot to get rid of Rampart or something this whole time. Oh, dude, I'd be so pissed. I'm tired of the whole redemption thing. My thing is, I'm thinking he said, "I wanted the whole squad, but you'll do," because he's gonna take Hunter to get his chip ramped up. He's gonna take Hunter to get the chip put back in, get it ramped up. So then that's another one to add to the Empire's cause, because maybe he doesn't want to kill them. But we also remember Rampart also said, it's a shame they don't work for us.
Yeah, he did say that. Mm-hmm.
Maybe Crosshair was like, all right, you want him to work for us. Let me go get him.
You know what? That would actually be interesting too, because then that would have an ending where you have Hunter having to have the gun drawn on Omega, and Hunter having to kill Omega, and then we have that emotional test of the chip, the whole Ahsoka and Rex thing going on, like a kind of redux of that in a way, and where he can't kill her, can't do it, and he overtakes the chip anyway because he's a superhero good guy that we have.
Because to me, there's no the Empire is like the overshadowing evil, but without Crosshair, I think that takes away the person to quote Scarface, the one that you point out and say that's the bad guy.
Rampart.
He's more of a shit weasel though. He's not really a bad guy. He's more of like the.
But they're kind of starting to direct him that way. They're starting to kind of direct him that way, especially if like because you want the. I mean, there's probably a sect of people out there that would want to see the Bad Batch reunited against a bad guy like Rampart.
I'd love that.
So I
But
don't know.
I don't know.
That's an interesting point. From like saying the series doesn't seem to have any direction like Clone Wars season 8. That's not. You're not that. I think it has more of a direction than that, but it is. It is definitely a bridge series. It does feel like there's a lot of connectivity to Rebels, and a little connectivity towards the Clone Wars, trying to forge its own identity. It's been hit or miss at forging its own identity. I'll give you that much, because the best episodes do seem to tie into nostalgia for the Clone Wars, anticipation for Rebels. But I think there's enough there to keep it grounded. Like the characters themselves are enough to keep it grounded for me. I don't know what you guys think on that, but
I think there's direction. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
think-
haven't seen the Clone Wars enough to have an opinion on this.
Yeah, I think it's the bridge. I think it's the bridge between the two. Whether we get a season 2 or not, I don't know. But right now, this does kind of seem like a bridge. Maybe they are still kind of testing the waters because they knew coming into it. A lot of people were like, "Why are you giving us this? We didn't ask for this."
right.
And I mean, like, why should Lucasfilm and Disney have to cave into what we as fans want? They want to tell certain stories. Go ahead, by all means, tell them.
Absolutely.
Maybe I would like to see a second season because I love a lot of the characters in this. I could do without Rampart just because he seems like any old throwaway Imperial shit weasel. Like talking to me, bringing him in added a real gravity of the situation. Be like, okay, like Tarkin's involved. Like this is important. Now it just seems he's kind of pawned it off on Rampart, and I'm like, okay.
Get that.
It feels like they're not using Tarkin on purpose that much. He's like too big of a character for this series, and that's why Rampart's in here.
Yeah, I think that's what it is too. They because like I think it's part of the thing. You can't. I think that's part of the pushback against having the same characters in every show. You can't have Tarkin be the bad guy in every show. You can't have him in Clone Wars, have him in Rebels, have him in Star Wars, have him in Rogue One, have him in this. Therefore, this is supposed to be a smaller scale Star Wars story. The Bad Batch is not a famous group of heroes. It's not the Luke, Leia, Skywalker saga type people. So we'll give them their own appropriately minor villain. That's lesser than Tarkin, but still try to build him up to be a Tarkin-esque type character in a way.
Yeah.
And therefore, they can use it. Then they can sprinkle them in for big causes. Like you get the finale, season finale. All of a sudden, that's when it's kind of what Vader was in Rebels. Like Vader wasn't around for most of Rebels, but then when he did appear, you're like, ah, oh, fuck yeah, kind of thing.
So we got 2 episodes left. Do you think we're gonna be getting a Vader type character at some point, or is the main showdown, the final battle, is gonna be between Crosshair and Rampart and the like?
I think we're just gonna get. I don't think we're gonna get big character. I do unless we get. I think Rex is gonna be our big character. I think that's gonna be Rex is gonna appear, and that's gonna be the big draw, so to speak. Interesting. I just want to point out what Rod's saying. All Star Wars stories that can be told, the story in the universe, BB seems to be spinning its wheels. That's my thing against it so far. I do get that to a point, but it's the curse of being this smaller scale show. It's the curse of being because like it's this the Bad Batch. And that's a curse of a lot of things. A lot of people do want away from the Skywalker saga and stuff. When you start taking like Skywalker saga stuff, anything that's not the Skywalker saga is immediately a lesser story to a degree because it's not the most important story in the universe.
Well, there are some stories that can be
but that's a
brought
totally
back
different.
to the High Republic.
That's a totally different generation, though. That's what
It
I'm saying.
is,
That's a totally different
but
generation.
there are great stories to be told. But I think this is now we're getting into what we talked about before when we went live.
Yeah.
There are great stories that we can still use, but yeah.
All right, folks. Let's wrap it up here. Last thing, thoughts for the future. Like, what are you expecting out of the next episode? Next episodes? Anything? Who do you want? What do you want to see happen? Who do you want to see?
I think they're gonna go back to Ord Mantell. We're gonna get Omega saying to Sid, but we helped you, so now we can't leave Hunter, and we helped you, so now you've got to help us, because that's only fair. And then Sid's gonna probably, I wouldn't be surprised if we get Fennec in the next episode.
Yeah, I think we are.
If
You know who I would be surprised to get really quickly? I didn't think about it ahead. I think we get a surprise if there's a season 2. You get Fennec, they get Hunter back. At the very end, we see Boba. And Boba kidnaps Omega. Come with me, little sis. Kind of thing, and takes her away for something.
Yeah, that's too Mandalorian season 2 finale. Like,
no,
Hunter
but more.
says, don't
no,
worry,
well,
Omega. We'll
no,
see
no,
you
no,
again. I
no.
promise.
I'm saying he'll roughly take her. He'll just kidnap her.
Oh, okay.
And then like next season will start out with him trying to like indoctrinate her. Like, you're not like the other people. You're not like them. You're more like me or something. I don't know. Figured into it. So I don't know. Just a thought. So
I completely forgot about, because they've mentioned Boba, like they wouldn't mention him without, because now they mentioned him being the big brother. People are like, all right, so where is he?
right, exactly. Just a thought.
I do think in the next episode we're gonna see. I think the Crosshair turn not on the good, like going back to the Bad Batch, but I feel like Hunter and Crosshair are gonna be working together for some goal that Crosshair wants for his own good. But I don't think that he's gonna try to go for the kill. I feel like the cliffhanger was, we can call it a cliffhanger. He did open the doors. I feel like there's some sort of co-op going on in the next episode, while the others are trying to break Hunter free and get him back.
Yep, exactly. Good call. All right, guys. Jarvis, where can the folks find you?
You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Richard Eric with a K Jarvie, and here on PLD Projects Weekly, talking Star Wars and the Bad Batch.
Maddie.
Me.
Yo.
Oh, you want to know? You can find me right here every week. Weekly, putting it out into the universe, projecting it out there with these two fine gentlemen, two of my best friends, talking about the best franchise of all time, bar none. Don't want to hear anything else. Twitter, Matty Gunner. Instagram, Matty_Gunner. Wild Jones Podcast Network every Wednesday and Sunday for the ONU MMA show. And I don't promote it enough, so I figured why not. Check out my band, Shadow of Azrael. New record coming out October 29th.
Excellent news.
Do say Twitter again.
Twitter.
Yes, thank you. I needed that.
Well, you find me on Twitter at
bruv.
Twitter.
Paul_Denuzio on Twitter. And you can also find me every week now, hopefully, on PLD Projects. And, someday I might try to expand the channel a bit more. I've been threatening to do that for years, but it seems like eventually it's going to have to happen when I find some free time. What's that? Because I also have the FCL going on Tuesdays on the Showdown Twitch channel, 3 p.m. Pacific, for 2 matches. This week we got John the Collector Knight versus Matthew the Reckoning Reed. And we got, of course, our boy Sean Wingblade, who's in the chat earlier, coming against Brennan Mystic Mar. Both IG matches. Should be a lot of fun for that.
Tough one.
Should be a lot of fun there. And you can find me on Action Industries channel, helping out Ben and Drew a lot of times when they need my help. And a lot of other things like that. You can find me called to action occasionally, at least booking things. It seems like I recently haven't been on the episodes, but I've been at least behind the scenes booking them. And a lot of stuff like that. So that's where you can find me, folks. I hope you guys have a great day, a great week, great night, great everything. And of course, may the Force be with you.